Episode 1 opens on Ben and Till. They're riding towards the debris field on Volt sleds. They approach, and Till makes some comments about it actually being weird to be outside without walls or a ceiling. While they're looking over the debris field, they come across a piece that has "Don't Run" spray painted on it. Just then, they see in the distance men appear wearing tactical military cold suits, and they even have guns. They also have individual things painted on their helmets, and this is going to come in handy this season to help identify some of these characters. So there is an anchor, a spade, a buffalo, a mouse, and I also think there's a fox. Ben and Till run, and then we get a cutaway to 9 months later. Layton is running through a series of cars, and he seems to be more and more panicked as he runs. But when he arrives at his destination, we learn that he was just running to bring Liana, the baby, her favorite toy called Gibby. We see Josie, Zara, Layton, and Liana enjoying a nice life together. The town of New Eden is busy and bustling. They have your normal problems like food production, power production, and communications. Layton wraps up with, on Snowpiercer, 879 cars long. We get a nice zoom out here. We can see New Eden from up above and how they've arranged some of the cars, and we can even see that they've rebuilt the bridge. We follow Javi, Josie, Layton, and Zara through the town of New Eden. Zara is happy that they've finally grown some strawberries, and Javi goes on about how he can improve communications. A couple times this episode, we're getting shots from, like, we'll have a scene happening outside in front of some cars, and then we'll get a shot, like, from 50 feet away of somebody, like, sneakily watching them. So we get one of those now. Javi convinces Josie to help him with the communications problem. She's impervious to the cold, so she can go out and check if the relays are doing all right. Ruth and Layton have a conversation in a dining hall. We find out that this is in the town hall building. It seems to be their big communal center. They talk about being in charge and how it's a council that runs the city. Ruth congratulates Layton on the bridge being finished. Layton heads to the job site as they actually have a few days left to finish the job. When Layton arrives at the job site, he breaks up a fight between Bulky, the large cold man, and Osweiler, the brakeman turned janitor turned night car entrepreneur. He's drunk on the job site. It leads to a fight, and his hand ends up cut. So Oz goes to get stitches from Zara at the clinic. Zara tries to be positive, as they may be reunited with Snowpiercer soon, and Osweiler hates all the people on Snowpiercer. He still thinks his ex-wife is alive. So, in the next scene, the council members meet. Everybody except for Alex. I think we have Roche, Javi, Layton, Ruth, and maybe Sykes is there. So they all start playing poker and drinking and having a good time. And we get a few of these scenes. Alex enters Big Alice. We see her greeting her bird called Mr. Sprinkles and analyzing some data. She gets a nosebleed, and we're taken back to the poker game. During the game, Javi tells everybody their tells, and as they're having a great time, the power goes out. Javi goes to investigate this, and we see that a cord has been unplugged. After Javi restores power to the town, he begins to hear voices in the distance. We get a panning shot across the frozen wastelands, and we see a small track scaler coming across the tracks towards New Eden. Layton and Josie fool around, and they also speculate on who might have put the power out. The next day, Javi works on the radio. He hears some voices coming through, but can't seem to make contact. Zara and Layton get a chance to share Liana's first steps. Oz drinks from a still that he's made in his tent, and we get a chance to see that he's living apart from the rest of the town on a mountainside. While he's outside, he begins to hear voices. Javi gets a chance to meet Alex and Big Alice, and they get to talk about their data. She shrugs him off, saying that she's really busy, and she brags as well as praised for the fact that she could get Big Alice to output enough power for the town at low idle. So it's not just a train, it's a little power plant. Alex shuts Javi down, saying she doesn't want to get personal, and she just wants to stick to the science. We get a little scene where Ruth and Layton plan for Snowpiercer's return. Josie discovers that the relays have been shot down. The group suspects Boki, as he's been off doing things with Alex lately, but Layton clears him, saying that he saw him leaving town carrying Alex's bird in a box. Dr. Hedwood leaves the clinic to give Boki a treatment. We can see that she still has her husband's shoes in a little glass box. She's held on to them since he died. Zara is left alone in the clinic with Liana. Ruth and Layton reflect on leadership. They discuss who might be behind the attacks, and they believe that it's somebody who doesn't want to reconnect with Snowpiercer. Roche comes to the clinic and offers to watch Liana as Zara goes up to Oz's mountainside tent to give him stitches again. Layton talks to Alex, and she is really into the science this episode, so much that it goes over Layton's head, and he just wants to know where Boki is. He also wants to know when he'll be back. She says they're having small earthquakes and atmospheric erosion, and she's trying to get to the bottom of it. Boki lets Mr. Sprinkles go, out in the wasteland. He's still in the bubble, but he's further away from camp. And when he lets the bird go, we cut to Josie. She sees the bird flying through the air, so they must be close. And as her eyes are taken in the direction the bird goes, she sees something in the distance, and we hear an engine sound. Layton is walking along the track, and the track scaler shows up. He rushes to the door, and we find Audrey inside. She's badly scarred and very weak. She only has the strength to say they're coming. Zara climbs the mountain to help Oz. They have a nice little heart-to-heart in his tent, and Oz thinks that all the people on Snowpiercer are dead, and the voices he's hearing are their ghosts. At Town Hall, Ruth congratulates everybody on finishing the bridge. Just as she's handing out these congratulations, the power is cut. Layton brings Audrey into Town Hall, and he warns them that they've been worried about who could be coming when they're already here. He puts Audrey down and runs off to find Zara and Liana. Roche is watching Liana when Dr. Hedwood shows up. She is joined by one of the soldiers from the ambush from the beginning of the episode, and he knocks Roche out, and Dr. Hedwood takes Liana. Josie meets up with Layton, and he tells her about Audrey, and she says that it wasn't the track scaler that she saw, it was a snowcat, like a big tractor. They rush to the clinic to find Zara, and find Roche unconscious, but he'll be okay. They also find Gibby from the beginning of the episode on the floor. Zara's coming back from helping Oz, and she hears Liana crying in the distance. She goes towards the crying, and she finds Dr. Hedwood with the soldier carrying the baby. She attempts to take the baby back from the soldier, but is overpowered. They're having a little bit of a shoving match on the edge of the cliff, and we cut away to Layton rallying the town and arming everybody. Josie is walking through the mountains, attempting to find Zara, and is met by Boki. He says that she needs to follow him immediately, and he takes her to Zara. It looks like Zara was pushed off the cliff while she was in the shoving match with the soldier, and she's broken her back. She lays there gasping for breath and tells Josie to go after Liana. They've taken Liana, and they need to keep her safe. She draws her last breath, and then Zara dies. Josie and Boki carry Liana's body back to town. They're met by Layton. Layton is traumatized, upset, and then he realizes Liana's gone. They have a tale-style funeral for Zara, where everybody mourns her. Layton plans to kill the attackers. We get the conclusion of the ambush at the end of this episode. Ben and Till were taken hostage by the group of soldiers. When they board Snowpiercer, we learn their leader is named Anton Melius, and he is part of an international peacekeeping force. They demand to be taken to Melanie Cavill, and the episode ends.